How's it hanging, YouTube? It's your boy D Burnsy here, and I'm back once again with a Jailbreak update video. So let's go ahead and jump into the latest news, which is, before I get into the jailbreak itself, iOS 9.3 Beta 1 got released to developers yesterday. A few hours after the beta released, Luca Tedesco took to Twitter and said that he jailbroke iOS 9.3 Beta 1. Well, not exactly. He tweeted out a YouTube video that he made that showed off the fact that he had successfully jailbroken 9.3 Beta 1. So this, in fact, is 100% true. Now, he did successfully jailbreak iOS 9.3 Beta 1. He successfully jailbroke iOS 9.2.1, 8.4.1, 10.2.6.5, all these different firmwares. But yeah, so he successfully jailbroke 9.3 Beta 1 a few hours after it came out, which was just incredible because apparently 9.2.1 did not really change anything exploitation-wise between 9.3 and 9.2.1. A lot of the things apparently were the same. So it didn't take long for him to update the, exploits that he had and update the jailbreak for 9.3 support. So we'll talk about everything 9.3 adds in a separate video. Maybe I'll make tomorrow or eventually. 9.3 is not out yet. It's in the first beta stage. This is actually the last. It's pretty much, I would say, the latest firmware in a long time that made some decent changes. So there's a lot of changes to go over for 9.3. There's a lot of really, really good things that are coming in 9.3. That actually, 9.1 was really the only other time that we've seen a major change, and that was with, there was so many more new emojis with the middle finger and everything else like that. So it's been quite a while since we've seen actual, major changes come to iOS. So this is really, really awesome, the fact that there's brand new features in 9.3. Right now it's in Beta 1, so there could be even more new features added later on, in the beta cycle, and then even in public release, there might be something that's new. But iOS 9.3 Beta 1 was jailbroken, and today, somebody took to Twitter and basically announced, they tweeted out another YouTube link, this one, thing that is actually confirmed fake, and basically said, hey guys, we partnered up with Luca Tedesco, who, made this 9.3 Beta 1 jailbreak, and, you can pay money to enter a lottery, and if we pick your name, then you could be one of the few that get access to this jailbreak, way early. So, obviously, 100% false, 100% not true. Luca Tedesco actually retweeted this and gave them a shout-out just because it was so ridiculously funny. But yeah, so this is not true, 100% fake. If you see anything like this, rolling around on Twitter, on the internet, it's most likely 100% false unless you have the big blogs reporting on it. Then maybe it's a shot in the dark whether or not it's true or not. But this 100% is false. And the reason why we know this is because it's completely out there. Why would Luca Tedesco not come out and say anything before this was going to happen? Somebody just kind of releases video, hey, we're partnering with Luca Tedesco, and Luca Tedesco didn't say anything whatsoever about this on Twitter. And previously, with the iOS 9.2.1 jailbreak, he showed off I think it was maybe even a little less than a week ago when he, first jailbroke 9.2.1. And he showed it off. He basically said, no releases. So, meaning, I'm showing this right now as a proof of concept, but I'm not releasing it. So, he didn't say it for 9.3 Beta 1, but we can assume that that's what, that's his intentions for 9.3 Beta 1, for this jailbreak that he showed off, even though, he didn't really specify. Another thing is, a lot of people are saying because he didn't respring with Winterboard or didn't show anything code execution-wise that the jailbreak is false. That's simply not true. Luca Tedesco is a known jailbreak developer. He's, he jailbroke iOS 8.4.1. Even though technically it's not public, he still has a fully working jailbreak for it. The only people that can use that jailbreak, though, are people that seriously know how to code and seriously know how to, read and write code and all that other stuff. So if you're a regular user like me, and probably you, maybe not you, I don't know, it depends who's watching this, but if you're a regular user like I am and like a lot of my friends are, then you're probably most likely not going to be able to use Yalu, which was the iOS 8.4.1 Mac jailbreak that actually released by him on his GitHub. So he has released before. He released Yalu 8.4.1. It just wasn't a complete user interface tool that everybody could use, which is why it didn't really get any media coverage. And I've, touched on this in previous Jailbreak update videos. I wanted to throw this up on my YouTube channel for you guys real fast, just letting you know, hey, iOS 9.3 can be jailbroken as of beta 1 anyway. So in future betas, obviously these exploits can be patched, and that's why it is vital that this jailbreak does not get released. And that's a lot of times the reason why jailbreaks do not get released for beta firmwares, or, right now in the present, why they haven't been in a long time. I think back in iOS 6 or iOS 5 with Red Snow, I think there was a few beta jailbreaks, but there has not been a beta jailbreak for a firmware in a long time. And the reason why is because there might be a jailbreak, it just might not be public. And the reason why it hasn't been released to the public is because they want to keep these exploits, working and functional throughout this entire firmware's lifetime. They want to be able to hold on to this exploit and use it, and as many jailbreaks as possible, as, basically they want to be able to use it for a long time coming. And if they say, hey, we're going to release a beta jailbreak, then it's just kind of like, well, if we release it for beta 1, say right now, say Luca Tedesco out of nowhere in like a minute just decides to release this. If he decides to release it out of nowhere, great, okay, 9.3 beta 1 jailbreak, that's awesome. But the other thing, the downside to that, which is the reason why he hasn't done it, even though he could if he wanted to, besides the fact that he doesn't really want to release it, if he wanted to, it'd be an extremely terrible idea to do it now, because of the fact that, beta 2, beta 3, boom, patched. And 9.3, when the official version comes out, people are going to need to work harder to actually get it to be jailbroken, because they're going to need new exploits, they're going to need new things. The things that, possibly the things they were sitting on might interfere with what was, already used up and stuff. And that's a lot of the times the reason why they choose not to do that. So my opinion is, basically, if I were to be asked, would you want it to release now? Would you want them to wait? Here's what I think is going to happen. Somebody, whether it's next week, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's a month from now, whether it's a year from now, it's obviously not going to be a year from now. It's going to be sometime really, really soon. In the near future, at some point, we will get an iOS 9.1, 9.2, and hopefully 9.2.1 jailbreak. I think most likely, though, they are just waiting until Apple pushes iOS 9.2.1 to the public officially. That has not happened yet. It's still in beta 2 or 3, I believe. I forget which beta it's on. But it's still in beta right now. It's not publicly released yet. And that's why I'm even surprised that they have two betas side by side. This obviously isn't the first time they did this. They did this with 9.1 and 9.2. When 9.0.2 was the latest firmware, they were testing out two different beta firmwares at the same time. So it was kind of really, really weird, and I don't know if they're ever going to do that again. It looks like for right now, though, that's what they're doing. I don't know, like they released both betas side by side, so 9.1 and 9.2 both got betas on the same day. It was like really weird. So I don't know if it, if they continue to do 9.2.1 in beta, then 9.2.1 and 9.3 might get a beta on the same day, which would be kind of weird again. It's obviously, like I said, not the first time they've done it, but it's just kind of weird to do that, because what's the point? 9.2.1, I think, is probably stable enough to push out. A lot of times people ask me, well, why did they do this? Why do they wait so long, especially on minor firmwares? Because 9.2 to 9.2.1, there is literally absolutely no difference. So what's the point of holding this back forever and waiting until it's stable, quote unquote, to actually drop 9.2.1? Well, the reason why is because back on iOS 8.0.1, there was a huge bug in the cellular data that essentially broke it in 8.0.1. So you couldn't call people, you couldn't text people, you couldn't use the internet. It was a really, really, really bad bug. And fortunately, this only affected a select number of phones. It's only affected, I believe, the iPhone 6 Plus and maybe the 6. I'm not 100% sure if it was the 6, but I definitely know it affected the 6 Plus. So there was, Apple put out a support document on their, website just detailing how to actually go to a stable firmware. And basically they detailed exactly what we normally do when a different firmware is being signed, just how to downgrade back down to it. So we already knew how to get back down to it, but for those of the, the people that don't really know what they're doing in terms of that, Apple, supported them and everything. So that was a really, really bad bug. So I think ever since then, Apple's kind of been a little bit hesitant to even minor firmwares, to pushing minor firmwares out just straight out of the gate. They want to make sure that they have as much beta testing as possible. That way, oh hey, 9.2.1 has this bug where all of a sudden the phone glitches and doesn't work anymore for like a half hour and then comes back on, then it doesn't work anymore and it boot loops, whatever. That's, something Apple's got to iron out before they push it out to the public, hence the reason why they haven't let it out of the gates yet. So hopefully, it doesn't really seem like there's any major bugs because it's really not that type of firmware, but maybe there is, maybe it's just behind the scenes, maybe we don't know. Maybe there's a jailbreak that's being worked on as I'm talking right now. Hopefully that's what I'm hoping, and they are working on a release for sometime soon. Definitely though, as soon as a jailbreak releases, whether it's for iOS 9.1, iOS 9.2, iOS 9.2.1, or iOS 9.3, even though that's probably not likely until it gets out of the beta stage, I will let you guys know here on my YouTube channel. Now, unfortunately, if it's just a 9.1 jailbreak, I will not be able to provide a tutorial because I do not have any of my devices on iOS 9.1 because a lot of my devices are jailbroken and the ones that aren't are on different firmwares, and unfortunately because iOS 9.1 is no longer being signed, I can't downgrade to iOS 9.1 any longer. So I think they stopped signing it like a few weeks ago. So that means that, like I said, if just an iOS 9.1 jailbreak comes out, I will not be able to cover it with a tutorial. I can go over it and tell you guys that it released and hopefully tell you guys that, oh yeah, 9.2 or 9.2.1 support is going to be coming in another update. It's coming later on. It's coming in a few days, whatever. But anyway, guys, wanted to throw this up on my channel real fast. Wanted to tell you guys what's up. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps me out here on my YouTube channel. And that is all for now. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this is David signing out.